Hi everyone, and welcome to Sports Watch. If you like the content, please press the bell icon for further notifications and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Khamzat Chimaev was a great prospect when he signed with the UFC. He was wild, raw, and fought like a man possessed. He debuted at welterweight but also fought at middleweight. He was one of the few stars in the company who fought simultaneously at two consecutive weight divisions. One day he was at welterweight, and 10 days later he was at middleweight. It was uncanny. He was finishing people in both divisions with ease. In his first few fights, he hardly even took a shot. His fights never went past the first round. Naturally, the UFC were excited that they had a potential superstar in their hands. Khamzat's first potential challenge was against Gilbert Burns at welterweight. For the first time in his career, his fight didn't end in the first round. For the first time, he got hurt, wobbled, even bloodied. He appeared to be human for the first time, faced adversity, but to his credit, he still managed to get his hand raised. Since then, Khamzat's run in the UFC hasn't been a smooth one. And it's not because of his in-ring prowess. His health has not kept up with him. He has had fights cancelled at the very last moment. During COVID, he was seriously ill, and since then, he has fought only a handful of times. He can no longer make 170 because of his health issues. Now he is having problems even at middleweight. He was the face of UFC Fight Night in Saudi Arabia. He was scheduled to fight Robert Whittaker, but he pulled out of the fight as he was violently ill. Chimaev isn't someone who pulls out of fights because of minor problems. If he pulls out, then one has to realize that the problems are grave. If Chimaev can't fight, then he's of no use. Ikram Aliskerov stepped up in short notice and was knocked out by Robert Whittaker. Now, after all the dust has settled, Chimaev has come out and expressed his desire to fight for the title next. It might sound delusional, but he says he's deserving of the shot next. Dana White recently said in an interview that it has been a challenge to get him in the octagon in recent times. The UFC can't risk putting Chimaev up for the belt if they are not guaranteed of his fighting. So despite what Khamzat wants, he has to fight someone substantial before he can even lay his claim for the gold. He mentioned Sean Strickland. They were sparring partners, and Strickland had allegedly claimed that he had got the better of Chimaev in sparring. Khamzat, however, refutes the claim. He says he choked him out. So they can fight, and you can see who the better man is. That fight is unlikely to take place anytime soon. Sean Strickland has already said that his next fight should be for the belt, and he won't entertain anything else. Fighting Chimaev doesn't do anything for Sean at this moment. Some have suggested that the Robert Whittaker fight should be rebooked. Whittaker underwent a rigorous camp for Khamzat only last time, but the latter pulled out. Rob won't go down that path again. Earlier in the year, he stepped up in short notice to fight Paulo Costa, who was supposed to fight Chimaev, and that didn't materialize. So Rob has fought back to back against tough opponents. There's no point of him again fighting Chimaev next. So who does Khamzat get to fight? The answer would be Paulo Costa. Both guys have had bad blood for each other. Genuinely, they dislike each other. They were booked to fight twice, but both times it got cancelled as one or the other pulled out. This would be the perfect time to make that fight. Costa is coming off back-to-back losses, and Chimaev is coming off a long layoff. Both fighters can win the fight. Paulo Costa is one of the few guys who has called Khamzat out. He even trolled him multiple times. So when they fight, it would be a mouth-watering prospect. And Costa is a big dude who hits really hard. Can Chimaev control him on the ground? The animosity between them can make for a great fight. But there are a lot of variables in that fight. But if Chimaev wishes to be champ, he should look to make a statement out of Costa. Paulo Costa would be extra motivated for this fight for sure. Maybe that's the fight that brings out the dog in him once more. That's the only fight to make right now. There is no way that Khamzat waltzes into a title shot after pulling out of big fights. Chimaev's aura is gone. He has to remind everyone about him. It's a big risk, big reward fight against Paulo Costa. One wrong move and you can get flattened. And Khamzat, at this point of time in his career, isn't left with plenty of options. So, in order to get that menace back, he has to fight someone of the caliber of Paulo Costa and silence him. Let me know in the comment section what you feel. Who should Khamzat Chimaev face next? It will be Paulo Costa, Robert Whittaker, Sean Strickland, or the winner of Adesanya versus Duplessis. And if you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.